And we are live. This is Sunday Scaries. The Sunday Scaries. Brought to you by Cottonwood Media. I am your host, your favorite host, the King of the Grove, and recently anointed Mr. 7, King of Scrabble. I'm here tonight. A little short-handed, it's me. So all opinions are now fact, and if you don't like it, that's pretty tough. Just boo the other boys. That's fine. They can take it. Today I'm going to cover what happened on Thursday Night Football, what happened on Special Edition Saturday Football, and of course all of Sunday's games. And we just had a incredibly poor finish in the Commanders-Giants, so we'll get to that here shortly. We'll start all the way back at Thursday with some rather important implications. Niners playing the Seahawks in Seattle. You got a Niners team that can clinch the division and a Seattle team that with a win is now just a game back. I think, what had happened was Geno Smith, not terrible, but not good enough to beat a heavily loaded Niners team. And the best part about the Niners team is probably their defense. The new kid, Brock Purdy, has had legitimately about 2.5 games now of excellent football. So if you're the Niners, what are you doing come next year? Are we looking at keeping Purdy? Are we looking at Garoppolo? Is Trey Lance still the guy? If not, Purdy will get a job elsewhere at some point. I mean, he looks like quite the quarterback. And I don't know if this is a product of nothing to lose, last pick. I don't know if this is a product of the Niners defense can fix basically any problem. And I don't know if it's a product of the Niners offense is unbelievable. McCaffrey looked nuts. He is kind of fitting in nicely now, it feels like. Kittle, big game. The best game of his season. The Niners are rolling. They have clinched the NFC West, and my guess would be they're gonna keep winning all the way to the 2 seed. The Vikings are a game above them for the 2, but I think the Vikings are, as Sean likes to say, they are now officially the best worst team. They're not even the worst best team anymore. They're now the best worst team. So they're going to lose at some point. You can only kick the can so far down the road before something catches you. So at the end of the day here, the Seahawks had a surprisingly good season, and the Broncos had a surprisingly bad season, so they're still picking top 5 probably. So Seattle really overperformed, and the Niners are doing about what they thought they would be doing heading into the last, quarter of the season. I would watch the Niners closely for, Super Bowl contender would be my guess here. Every week they just look like they get better. Not much else really happened for Seattle. It's just hard when, offensively, you're just a little behind. DK is great. Their running backs are kind of slipping a little bit. Lockett is good. I feel like at times he disappears. But I guess he pops up when you need a big play. But, coming down the stretch, it was close. A 21-13 win for the Niners is good. It's hard to win in Seattle, and the Seahawks do classically have the Niners numbers, so If the Niners are getting over that hurdle, watch out. All right, let's move into Saturday. It was a good Thursday game, though. You don't often. I mean, this year's not been historically good for Thursday night games, so let's take the good ones when we can get them, right? Moving into Saturday. Oh, boy, what do you say about this game? This is tough. Colts, Vikings. Kirk Cousins put up just ridiculous numbers. Some of the most ridiculous numbers I've seen all year. He throws for 460, 4 touchdowns. You got Dalvin Cook running for 95 yards. Not to mention, and bless his heart, JJ time, Justin Jefferson, he didn't find the end zone, but boy, did he find a lot of catches for quite a lot of yards, huh? I don't know how you feel. This is a game that if you are the Vikings, how do you feel? Are you excited that you made the biggest comeback in NFL history against a head coach who's now coached like 3-4 total games? Are you excited that you were getting blown out, 33-0 at halftime? If this is a good team, you lose 50-7. What are we looking at here? And if you're the Colts, I think it's a hard loss to take. I mean, it is, again, must reiterate, the greatest and largest comeback in NFL history. Now, with that being said, in the very, very start of the game, very first quarter, we get Jonathan Taylor suffering an injury and does not come back. And now, obviously, that doesn't seem to make much of a difference when you score 33 straight points, and he is involved in none of them. I don't know if the Colts defense got tired. I don't know if the Vikings just didn't care anymore and we're just going to throw the ball. Just throw it everywhere. But, to get it into overtime, to score 22 points in the fourth quarter, and to barely get it done in overtime. Let's be honest about this. We almost had a tie, okay? What do we feel, Vikings fans? Let's be honest. You and me, let's have a conversation right now. Be honest. Are you going to lose in the first round of the playoffs? You have to tell me now if that's true, because I don't want to get embarrassed and say, no, the Vikings are going to win at least a few. They could be in the NFC Championship game. So just be honest with me. And be honest, do you know you're the best, worst team in the league? You guys have a negative points differential? You're 11-3? How is this even possible? Oh, you know what? I got to apologize. You guys won by 3. So now you're positive. Your points differential is positive. You're +2 on the year. You have won 11 games and have outscored your opponents by 2 points. And now I know what you're going to say. Well, it's not our fault that we lost to the Cowboys 40-something to 3. Well, how come you guys don't blow people out? Your offense is maybe the best on paper in the league. So, you know what? You get no high fives from me this week, but the Colts get, a kick in the mouth from you guys. So, firm handshakes. Your bid for the 1 seed continues. I don't know how you're going to accomplish that, because an actual good team is the 1 seed. So, I mean, this game was full of everything. The Colts were just blowing the doors off. I'm at a loss for words on this one. But there was a collapse across the board. Complete collapse. Bad turnovers. Okay. I guess you start there. You say Colts had bad turnovers. You say Matt Ryan is old and busted. And then I guess you say, well, I don't know. What else do you say? I think you just say the Vikings figured out that, like, you guys were only trying to run the ball and you didn't do anything with that afterwards. Oh, and also kind of bad special teams. I think we should cover some of that a little bit. I mean, the Colts defense played nuts in the first half. That might have been, you might have thought they were the best defensive team in football. They were, oh, man, okay. I can't, I'm tired of this. Vikings fans, firm handshakes, but you have to tell me if you're losing in the first round. Now, I'm not going to be as good at reading off the scores as my co-host Pat here, but I'm going to try my best, okay? Do it for the people. We have the Minnesota Vikings, 39. The Indianapolis Unlucky Colts, 36. That one felt pretty good. We're just going to keep getting better at that. The next Saturday game, and I'll put my hand up, I fell asleep. Browns-Ravens. This was tough. Huntley looked lost. The Ravens defense looked tired because they had to play so much of it. And Deshaun Watson did what I would call the bare minimum to secure a victory. But with all that being said, the Browns did secure a victory, and that really hurts the Ravens. The Ravens' offense is much worse without Lamar Jackson. They are having great success just running the ball. J.K. Dobbins, 125 yards, that's nuts. But you, when you need it most, are missing a play or two. A big play, a big moment. And Huntley, he's not going to be the guy that brings it. The defense can bring that play sometimes, but they look gassed. And for how slow this game was played, what are you thinking? That division is slipping away from you. You're going to end up probably a wild card. And, you know, with this also being said, I've had some bad playoff takes recently, so me saying you guys are probably the wild card could mean you just fall out of the playoffs altogether if this doesn't stop. Maybe this was good for the Browns. Maybe this is good for Watson. He's looked bad at football recently. But again, he hasn't played in 2 years, and he's a giant scumbag, so who cares? I hope the Browns find that he plays terribly, and they have to pay him $200+ million to just tank their franchise for 6-8 years. That would be pretty slick. I mean, the Browns are out of the playoffs. The Ravens are still in it, still concerned about it. You guys need Lamar back. I like when Lamar plays. He's at least fun to watch. But if you can't find that big play, I don't know what you're supposed to do. At least Huntley didn't get hurt again, so shouts out to that. Shouts out to not getting hurt as the quarterback. But at some point, I think Lamar is... I don't want to speak out of turn here. I think Lamar is back next week. And that'll be good because you guys get a get-right game. You get the Falcons. And if he's not back, heavily leaning on the Falcons to make this one tight. Because that division is still kind of up for grabs, and the Falcons might mess around and win it. I don't know if there's much else to say about this game. It was slow. It was boring. We'll ring them up here. You got the Cleveland, I just brownsed my pants 13 versus the Ravens, lame wing and all 3. Baltimore, you stink. And then the nightcap. Let's move right on to the best game of Saturday. Bills Dolphins. This one had quite a lot of excitement. The game was well played, and the Dolphins should feel good about this. It didn't necessarily go their way, but they were leading in Buffalo heading into the fourth quarter. What happened in the fourth quarter, Josh Allen's very good. But the Dolphins controlled the game running the ball. They had Tua make some big plays when he needed it. It was a tough game for Tyreek a little bit, as far as the rules go, you have to contain Hill or you have to contain Waddle because you won't contain them both. And to keep Tyreek under 70 yards on 9 catches, that means they were tackling. He didn't get any of the short little 5-yard slants and runs. He didn't just blow the roof off the top of the defense. He was contained. 9 catches is still a lot, but he didn't hurt you as bad as he could have. He still had a touchdown, and he is still maybe striving for 2,000 yards on the season, but Waddle, on the other hand, only had 3 catches for 114 and a touchdown, but he got it was almost 70-yarder. He was a big play guy. So the Dolphins looked great. Mostert ran the ball, but at the end of the day, the Bills got some stops when they needed it. Okay, Josh Allen did a great job not turning the ball over. Okay, 0 interceptions. The Bills are so much better when he doesn't give the other team a chance. He throws for 4 touchdowns, over 300 yards, and then in the fourth quarter, it just starts downpouring that snow. And, excuse me, the Bills are trailing. They got to go basically the length of the field, and he has no problem. He gets them all the way down there. They hand the ball off to Singletary. He takes a dive to 2-yard line. They let the clock run down, and they kick a field goal in the snow. And I had the thought that, maybe Singletary was overthinking it, and a score there might not have been the worst. Ooh, sneezing. If he scores there, and they go up 36-29 or 35-29, I really don't think Tua is going to go the length of the field in 25 seconds, but apparently kicking it in that light of snow was no problem. Not when you're a professional and not when your name is Tyler Bass. Shouts out to kicking field goals in the snow, and that thing was dead down the middle. And again, we'll reiterate, it was like 25 yards long. He did not have to kick it far, but the Bills have had problems with snaps on the 1-yard line before, so who would have ventured to think scoring a touchdown there wouldn't have been the worst. This win is huge for the Bills. It, all but assures the division is theirs. It all but assures some home field advantage in the playoffs. The division is theirs, isn't it? That's correct. Well, no, sorry. They've secured the playoffs. They have not secured the division, if I'm not mistaken. That's correct. Because I guess Miami could win out and they could lose out, and then, that's a tiebreaker situation that I think goes to the Dolphins, but they're one win away from the division. They've secured the playoffs, and they're now, they're still chasing the 1 seed. It's between them and the Chiefs at this point. The Bengals are only 1 game back from that 1 seed, so I think the Bills are. That was a tough win against a good opponent, but if the Bills are playing at home, that bodes well for them in the playoffs. And if I were a betting man, which I am, I'm liking a rematch from last year, Bills Chiefs, and we'll see who gets to go to the Super Bowl from that game. The AFC is very strong this year, though, with the Bengals being in there. So I don't know. I don't think the AFC South is really that scary, but you could easily see maybe the Chargers just having a great offensive game. Maybe the Ravens defense pops up. Dolphins could be scary. I don't know if you want to play the Dolphins anytime, but I like the Bills and the Chiefs. They're kind of standing above, looking down on the rest. But hey, shouts out to the Dolphins. I know you had a bad week last week, and I know this win was going to be very important. But I think coming out and playing as hard as you did should generate and breed some confidence. The Bills are a tough team to beat at home, but I think you guys might have the formula for it. With that said, we're going to ring them up here. You got the Buffalo Bills circling the wagons, 32. The Miami, where's the sun, Dolphins, 29. That was a great Saturday game. And you know what? Shouts out to no college football. Not a fan. All right, let's check out these Sunday games, huh? We'll go morning to afternoon. Eagles Bears. This was an interesting one in that the score wasn't what I thought it would be, and the Bears played harder than I expected. Jalen Hurts had a pretty rough game. He had some poor decisions when throwing the ball. He had a lot of missed passes, maybe. But then on the drop of a hat, he would throw just an absolute missile to the sideline right to Devonta Smith, who had a nice game to complement A.J. Brown having a nuts game. I think the longer A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith are playing together there, the better they're just going to get. And Jalen Hurts, at this point, if I were to guess, and I like doing that too, he could be an MVP frontrunner. This game doesn't help him, but the Eagles' overall body of work does. Hurts also ran in 2 more touchdowns today, which is just a threat that you cannot deal with. him and Justin Fields are very similar in that regard. That are they going to run it? Who knows? Well, that's not true. Everyone knows Fields is going to run it. He's been passing better lately, though, which is, I guess, probably great to see if you're a Bears fan. But Jalen Hurts definitely, as it stands now, is the better passer. Fields might be the better runner, but I think Hurts prioritizes the pass over the run. And he still has 12 rushing touchdowns because he's such a threat inside that 10, inside that 5, inside the 20. But, Fields, Fields had that run today down the sideline, doing a juke, a spin, a run, a dive to the end zone, and unfortunately on the spin he was out of bounds just a little short. But it was going to be, I was going to call it play of the year if he scored, because that was just an absurd run. And if you get more like that, or even half of that with him regularly, it's going to be hard to stop. With the Bears' lack in receivers, he can make up for with creativity and running. I just worry that the Bears will become, at some point, maybe too one-dimensional. There were several plays where, you saw it a mile away. He's gonna run as hard and as fast as he can, left or right, try to get that first down, get a few yards. And it just kind of comes down to, is the defense faster than him? And today they were quite a few times. So when the Eagles are at their best, they are no doubt the best team in the NFC. How they'll fare against the AFC, I'm not sure, because the NFC, I think, across the board has weaker teams. But the Eagles will, with today's events, they'll be the 1 seed, I believe. And, the road to the Super Bowl is going to go through Philadelphia. And that is going to be tough to do. As far as, control of the game went, the Eagles never felt like it was danger time, scary time. But the final score, being 25-20, indicates that the Bears really did put up a fight. And they were ready to play today. And when you're the Eagles, you're going to get every team's best. So you got to be ready, okay? We'll ring this one up, but pretty good game. I thought it might just be an absolute blowout, but pretty good game. We got the Fly, Eagles Fly, 25. And the Chicago, well, it's almost the end of the year, Bears, 20. Falcons Saints. What to make of this game? What to make of it? The NFC South all wants to have the same record. Falcons are 5-9. Saints 5-9. Panthers 5-9. Somebody has to win that division. Oh, I think I left out the Bucks. What are they? 6-8. Somebody has to win that division. When bad teams play, anything is possible. Andy Dalton is the least fun quarterback to watch. Ritter, I guess, man, he's a rookie. I don't know what to make of that yet either. Was not impressive. Was not great. But, oh, man, when you're Andy Dalton and you have 151 Total pass yards on 17 attempts, and Taysom Hill has 80 pass yards on 2 attempts. Now, I get it. Taysom Hill threw a huge pass to Rashid Shaheed, but when Andy Dalton's in the game, I just assume you're running the football or he's going to throw a little baby pass. He is so unfun. I don't know why the Saints don't just... Dude, you're 5-9. I don't know if the Saints fans need to start a petition, a change.org. You have to let Jameis Winston play. You have to. You're 5-9. Can we all agree you're 5-9 and it's not even fun to watch football? You Saints fans, listen. I know we talked to the Vikings fans earlier. This one's just for you. Okay. Quit going to the games. Quit showing up until they get rid of Andy Dalton. I know, we love supporting our team. Oh, we love it. Let me tell you about the early and mid-2000s when we were still the St. Louis Rams. Let me tell you about that. We didn't show up to the games because we were bad, and we didn't like how things were going, and we're not very good fans. And then they started blacking it out on TV. But you have to fight through that. You fight through that adversity, and you yell and you stomp and you make them get rid of Andy Dalton. And the more you do this crap where you win by 3 points against a Falcons team that doesn't even want to play, the more you're just reinforcing Andy Dalton. Now, I'm sure next year he won't be on the team and this problem will go away, is what you're hoping. But I got bad news. I think Andy Dalton's the kind of guy that loves hanging around longer than he is welcome. Oh, man. If you're on the other side of this, though, Falcons, Desmond Ridder looked like garbage. Now, I'll talk to the Falcons here for a second. First-year quarterback, finally getting his opportunity, playing an okay Saints defense. He looked lost, man. I don't know what the first 14 weeks of the season were doing for him, but he is lost. You guys had a good run game today, which makes sense if your quarterback can't throw the ball, but let's hope he develops a little more, okay? You guys are bad. You're a bad football team. You should be embarrassed a little bit. You've been bad for a while. I think, honestly, ever since you guys blew the Super Bowl, your franchise has never recovered. So, let's think on that for a bit. Let's come up with a new plan to not be the Falcons. Alvin Kamara, nice game. Good to see you back. We have the New Orleans Snooze Fest Saints, 21. And the Atlanta, we're barely a football team, Falcons, 18. Blah. Oh, here's a game I can get excited about. I can get into this one. Lions, Jets. How are we feeling, Lions fans? I like this when we can have one-on-one conversations. I'm one of you. I hope you let me join the Lions Club. I'm a big Jared Goff guy. And you guys are very fun to watch. Now, I think this says a lot about your team today. You played a tough Jets defense that is very good. They're maybe not getting enough credit because the Jets are kind of falling off, but I think their defense is the best part of that team. They're having some quarterback problems. You guys aren't. Goff is the guy. You guys might have got the better end of that trade. He hasn't got hurt yet. Think about it. I got a Super Bowl, and you got a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. So, fair trade. Your running backs, all of them. I didn't think I was going to have to learn about Justin Jackson, but you guys just hand the ball off to everybody, and they all do just fine. Today was DeAndre Swift's day. He had the most yards on 8 carries. Jamal Williams contributed in other ways. You know, like getting tackled 13 times. I wish they would give it more to DeAndre Swift. I know Jamal Williams is the touchdown guy, though. He loves touchdowns. That's okay. At the end of the day here, your defense did enough to win this game. Zach Wilson came in. He got to start again because every doctor on planet Earth told Mike White, no, you're not allowed to play. Your ribs are busted. But Zach Wilson looked terrible. He looked awesome. He was electric and scary, and he was going to do everything. He made some incredible passes, and then he made some that looked like I threw them. And maybe that's not a slight to me. I do have a very strong arm. I'm the Uncle Rico of this podcast. But at the end of the day, the Jets are down their best running back. T's and P's to Breece Hall. They are starting to figure out who their quarterback is, and then he gets hurt. Garrett Wilson is awesome. I hope you guys don't blow that. He's really coming on strong this back half of the season. Overall, this was a pretty good back and forth game. It was close. It was competitive. This was big for the Lions. They needed this one. It is a step in the right direction. It's a path to the playoffs. Okay. Winning 5 out of the last 6, and the only one they lost being a very close one to the Bills. It's a great start. And I think the NFC is going to help you guys a little bit. I would love to see you guys make the playoffs. And then we can become a Detroit Lions playoff supporting podcast. At the end of the day, this is the Jets peaking too soon. This is the Jets looking forward to next year. But you got to figure out that quarterback situation. The Detroit Motor City Dan Campbell's 20. We need to land for refueling New York Jets 17. Shouts out Lions. Meow. Meow. I love when the Lions win. Steelers, Panthers. I'm going to level with you guys. I don't want to talk about this game. But I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it for the Steelers fans. The Panthers, all you had to do was win today. All you had to do was win today. And you would have been in first place. The Steelers, who I think people know are not very good. They don't care. They're just going to play hard football. And you know what? They're going to finish the season. You know what? Mike Tomlin never goes under 500. They might finish 9-8. And wouldn't that be something special? Let me check the calendar here. I believe it's 4 weeks in a row now. I'm a Najee Harris guy. 24 carries, 86 yards, and a touchdown. Najee Harris, keep it rolling. Ignore the doubters. Block out the haters. I'm a Najee guy. Here's who I'm not a fan of. Mitch Trubisky. But what do? Kenny's hurt. Najee did a very good thing today. All of the Pittsburgh running was solid. 156 yards on the ground. Good. Ran the ball 45 times, and that's not a coincidence. You don't want Trubisky being the one doing stuff. He was oddly efficient, though. You know what? Say something nice about the Steelers. Mitch Trubisky was oddly efficient today. 17 for 22 for 179. It's better than Sam Darnold, 14 for 23, 225, in my opinion. Sam Darnold had one of the tiniest windows for a touchdown throw I've seen all year. He rolls out right and just rips a missile, an absolute missile to DJ Moore. And I don't know how DJ Moore held on to it, but he got inbounds, touchdown. And that's when I thought the Panthers were going to come to life. And it turns out the Panthers can't run the football, and it turns out they can't really pass the football. But hey, nothing's really changed here. You guys can still win out and win the division. Someone's going to make the playoffs this year with a losing record. And it's going to be the Bucks, Panthers, Saints, Falcons. Someone's going to do it. Can't wait to see who it is. Man, last week we had a good Chubba Hubbard laugh. This week it looked like he had double bubble in his cleats. I don't know what. He hit 4 carries for 10 yards. Tough, man. Deontay Foreman, 10 carries, 9 yards. Even worse. Sam Darnold ran for his life twice for 2 yards. Tougher. That was all your guys' rush yards. You had 16 carries for 21 yards. That's maybe the worst I've ever seen. You got to reevaluate there. Panthers stink. Steelers, great defense. Good running back. I think George Pickens is probably a future Pro Bowl wide receiver. Deontay Johnson has his moments of great success. I think he is still a pretty good wide receiver. You just got to figure out how to keep him engaged, motivated, ready to go. That's kind of all I got from this game, man. The Panthers just never want to win. Say something nice about the Panthers. Johnny Hecker's my favorite punter. So, I guess he might be your guys' favorite player too. You use him so much. Burn. Ring him up. The Pittsburgh, we never go under 500 Steelers, 24. And the Carolina, what are we doing, Panthers, 16. Meow. I'm going to stop doing that for the Panthers. They piss me off. You guys are the worst. That's not even bias. No one hates the Panthers. You guys just stink. All right. This is tough, but I'm going to call it. This is game of the morning. Cowboys, Jaguars. And you know what? I misread this game. I gave the Cowboys a lot of credit. But, my co-host Kyler did not. He had the Jaguars slotted in this one for a potential win. And I feel like I have been overly harsh on Trevor Lawrence. Maybe. I may have been overly harsh on the Jaguars as a whole. But I just don't know when Trevor Lawrence is going to be bad again. And he might not be bad again. That might be on me. I might just always think the Jaguars are going to just stink. But the last 4 weeks, he's really been something special. If you're the Cowboys, you could brush this off. Oh, we're looking ahead. Da-da-da-da-da. The Eagles don't look ahead. And you guys thought you were going to catch the Eagles? No shot. But this Cowboys loss feels like it's been brewing for a while, I guess. You go and look back at last week. It takes a little bit of luck to beat the Texans. You go the week before that, you guys beat the Colts 54-19, but do not forget, the fourth quarter you were losing, and then a million bad Colts plays. You beat the Giants by 8 the week before that. So, beating the Giants is a good win because that's divisional, but the Cowboys were slipping a little bit. And next week they play the Eagles, so you just go, oh, I was looking ahead. I was this or that. You got to stay locked in. You're going to go Eagles, Titans, Commanders to end the season. And, again, if you are not careful, you could end up falling into a wild card spot that you don't want. You're already going to get a wild card spot. You're not winning the division, so let's not get crazy about that. But, yeah, I lied. You guys are going to be the 5. There's no world where you're not the 5. And I guess currently as it stands, the Giants will be the 6. And I guess you have Detroit, Seattle, and the Commanders fighting for the 7. But if you guys are the 5, you're going to have to play. You know what? Cowboys fans, let's have a little conversation here. Did you lose this on purpose? I'll give you the out right now. You say we lost on purpose. You guys are trying to play the Vikings in the first round of the playoffs. That's essentially a bye. Oh, no, I lied. You'll play the 4 seed, which is even better. You'll play the Bucks or Panthers or Saints or Falcons. Holy shit. Oh, man. Yikes. I'm rescinding your out, though, for losing on purpose. You guys got a little over your head in this one. Trevor Lawrence, 4 touchdowns, 318 yards. Travis Etienne, 100 yards on the ground. Jamal Agnew, 3 carries, 52. You guys did not stop that run. As a team, they were 27 for 192. No attempt was made to stop the run. On the flip side, Elliott, Pollard, both average under 4 yards a carry, which I think is a little tough for them. Zeke did score. Dak had some wildly bad throws. And the Jaguars just kept capitalizing on it. There's passes you can make and passes you cannot make. And when Dak is on, he looks in control, ready to go. When you are giving up pick sixes and Rashawn Jenkins owns you, maybe don't throw towards him. Or maybe just make like slightly better decisions. I don't know. The back and forth in this was awesome. And getting that overtime, the Cowboys had lost basically all momentum, I feel like, going into overtime. Man, Jaguars, huh? That is something. And you know what? If you're the Tennessee Titans, you're sweating right now because the Jaguars are coming. Okay. Cowboys blew this one in a multitude of ways. Going into halftime, you guys are up 21-7. And then, you just took the foot off the gas, started making some real bad decisions. And if we're being honest, this one's probably equally on the defense as it is the offense. The defense did have 2 fumble recoveries and interceptions, so I might change my mind. This one's mostly on the offense for giving up a pick 6 and for sputtering in the second half. And the Jaguars just kept coming and going and going and going. I'm a Jaguars guy. I'm on the fence, actually. I'm going to go fence. But I think the Jaguar who had the biggest day of them all, and I don't think you could really argue with this, Zay Jones, 6 catches, 3 touchdowns. So he is ready to go. 100 yards for him, 92 for Kirk. Evan Ingram, what a resurgent year for him. And by resurgent year, I mean the last 4 weeks. Looking like the old Giants days, am I right, boys? Let's ring them up. This was a great one. This game was awesome. The Jacksonville were in the playoff hunt. Jaguars 40. And the Dallas, what happened out here? Who? What? Cowboys 34. Jaguars, meow. Damn, good on you, Jaguars fans. Firm handshakes to the Jags fans. I'm sure it's not easy being a Jaguars fan. All right, let's look at this surprise game. This one probably should not have been close. I think all of the numbers would indicate it was a big Chiefs game, okay? But Chiefs-Texans, this one got scary. This was a game that meant a lot to the Chiefs. This was to win the AFC West. This was to secure and keep in the race for the 1 seed to the playoffs. And all you had to do was beat the 1-11-1 Texans. And you went into halftime trailing 14-13. What is going on? I just think you guys didn't care today. This was not a great performance. Patrick Mahomes actually played very well. He had another. This is a good game for him because if he went out there and threw some interceptions like last week, I don't know if you guys win this, but Mahomes had just an unbelievably efficient day. 36 for 41, 336 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's excellent. And then on the flip side of that coin, you have the Houston Texans, who played Davis Mills and Jeff Drippy randomly. I could not figure out why Jeff Driscoll, a.k.a. Jeff Drippy, just popped in a few times to throw the ball. Do not understand it. But as a team, you have a 50% completion rate for 125 yards. And you got 28 carries for 94 yards. I don't know how you were competing in this. The Chiefs had an untimely fumble. That is a true statement. Isaiah, Pacheco, there I found it, ran right into a brick wall, got stood up, and the ball just fell out. I don't know what happened there, but Chiefs, we got to stop turning the ball over, okay, because good teams are going to take advantage of that. Texans, congrats on the 1 seed. Try to draft a quarterback that doesn't suck. Across the board, the stats don't add up to how this was such a tight game. I think the Texans just run out of steam at the end. I think their defense is okay. But, man, it's painful to watch. You're just missing 1 or 2 plays. Just one big play when you need it most. So, I don't know what to tell you, Houston. We could have a talk, but it's going to be get a new quarterback. Chiefs, quit messing around. Or do. I don't care. But you play like this against anybody in the playoffs, they're gonna hand you your lunch. But I say that and I look at the stats and I still don't understand. It's just don't turn the ball over, Chiefs. Don't do it. All right, let's ring them up. Shouts out Patrick Mahomes, MVP race. The Kansas City Chiefs, 30. Sorry, let's try that again. The Kansas City, we own the West, Chiefs, 30. The Houston, get me out of here, Texans, 24. You got to do better. All right, let's scoot right into the afternoon, huh? Here's a game that I find very funny. Very funny. Broncos Cardinals, huh? Who'd have thought? Not me. Not me. The battle of the backups. We had so many backup quarterbacks in this game. You get some Colt McCoy. You get some Trace McSorley. And you get Brett Rappenham. The Cardinals are lost. And to say that, our season really came to a head when we lost Murray, that's not true. You guys stunk well before that. And I know what you're doing now. This is our talk right now, Cardinals. You guys are trying to lose out so you get an easier schedule next year. But that was my plan. I thought of it first. The Rams are trying to lose out so we can have an easy schedule next year. Man, you have so many good players on that offense. James Conner, pretty good running back. DeAndre Hopkins, I still think he's a top 5 wide receiver in the league. Yeah. Maybe that's all your offense. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to be a Cardinal right now. But it's even tougher to be a Bronco when you get 24 points out of Brett Rippon, which, one good effort from him is basically better than the entirety of Russell's season. If you're the Broncos, it was probably smart shutting him down today. I don't think you let him play the rest of the year. I think you say, hey, there's always next time. Latavius Murray, sick game. Maybe he can be your guys' running back. I don't know. You guys don't seem to like any of them, but, he goes for 130 and a touchdown. Might want to let him keep going. Jerry Jeudy followed up last week's game with another pretty good performance. He didn't find the end zone, but he had 7 catches for 76 yards. Maybe that's Brett's favorite guy. I don't know. But when the Broncos season is so bad and then this happens, because their defense still played great, might have been an easier outing for them, having 2 pretty terrible quarterbacks play. The Broncos defense got 3 interceptions, held the Cardinals to 15 points, a total of 167 pass yards, only 73 rush yards. This was a Broncos game from start to finish. You know what? I'll say this now. Pat Surtain won't win Defensive Player of the Year, but I feel like he should be at least mentioned just to be mentioned. He is very good. I like him at the corner position. He is. I don't think he gets enough credit. That's a product of the defense playing well but not winning any games. He doesn't always get the most interceptions. But he's out there playing some tough defense every week. And I tell you what, he's very good, and he'll be good for years to come. If you're the Broncos, we can have our talk now, okay? This season went badly. We can all agree. It wasn't what we wanted. But keep the defense motivated, keep them going. Try again next year. Maybe find a new coach, I don't know. But you got to go year 2, and you got to not just forget this year happened. It's fine. Wasn't what we expected. But that's okay. You're looking pretty good the last few weeks, okay? I don't really want to jinx it, but you guys almost had the Chiefs. You really owned the Cardinals. You could have had the Ravens. They only scored 10 points. The Ravens only scored 10 points. So, next week will be your biggest challenge yet. Christmas Day. The Broncos versus the Rams. And yes, I will be watching that game. It will be the most important of my season as well. The winner gets nothing and the loser doesn't care. But it matters to me. As far as the rest of this game goes, it may as well have not happened, if we're being honest, but it did, and we're talking about it. So let's stop talking about it and ring them up. We got the Denver, we don't need Russell Broncos versus the Cardinals. Dude, where's my quarterback? Cardinals. Oh, Broncos 24, Cardinals 15. I told you not very good at these scores, but we're trying. Patriots, Raiders. Okay, well, this game had some questionable decisions, some officiating blunders potentially, and I think everyone involved in this game is bad. Now, should the Patriots have won or been in a winning position? Maybe. Should this game have gone into overtime? 100%. Did any of those things happen? Nope. Because in the strangest play I have ever seen, the Patriots started to pitch the ball with 0 seconds left in the fourth. The score is tied 24-24. And Ramondre Stevenson gets a pretty nice run up the middle, and then his brain just implodes. Maybe it wasn't even on him. Maybe he was told, if you want to, pitch the ball. I don't know. But I've never seen a run play up the middle result in someone pitching the ball. This was some Reggie Bush versus Texas national championship pitch the ball over the middle of the field type shit. And my mind still is blown by this. Ramondre just gives a little pitch over to Jacoby, who runs backwards a few yards, is looking for someone to pitch it to. He decides that he's going to throw the ball. And I mean throw the ball. He must have thrown this thing 30 yards, backwards and sideways, to Mac Jones. What was Mac going to do when he got that ball? There was no one behind him. He can't throw it again. I don't know if this was I've played too much NFL blitz moment. Jacoby, he can't throw the ball again. The ball was already past the line of scrimmage. He throws this ball so terribly short. The Raiders just are waiting. And they're waiting. Oh, the ball? I have the ball? And they just run it straight back to the house. Chandler Jones straight up catches this ball running towards the end zone. This is the first time anyone's, I swear, caught a pass on defense being thrown backwards 30 yards while running to their own end zone. And so he scores, and the game is over. This was the most un-Patriots thing I have ever seen. And I'm surprised Bill Belichick didn't die on the spot. I'm surprised he didn't just fire everybody or quit or this. If there's ever a scenario where you're like, boy, the NFL doesn't seem as honorable as they claim to be, you could submit that here, because none of this game made sense. There was like a clear touchdown that was fully reviewed and was like, no, he wasn't standing out of bounds. He was clearly out of bounds. There was, well, the game's tied. We're not going into overtime. Let's just ensure that the defense scores on this. And I don't even know, like, the rest of the stats of this game almost mean nothing. Mac Jones played terribly. Derek Carr had a regular game, I feel like. Josh Jacobs, pretty good. Ramondre, insane game. Until he decided to Reggie Bush the game away. And you know what? I'm not even going to blame Ramondre, because his pitch was very safe. Jacoby Myers is the problem. On this particular play, this is his fault. But, oh man, it was bonkers. We entered a different reality where there's a version of this play that happens, and somehow the Patriots do score a touchdown on that just insane decision. But it wasn't this reality, and this is crushing for the Patriots. And it kind of doesn't mean a lot to the Raiders, because it feels like the Raiders are going to be the team on the outside looking in for the playoffs. And the Patriots, I don't think, want to go to the playoffs. This game was absurd. On the absurd meter, we broke it. It went past the limit. I'm ringing this one up. There's nothing to take from this game other than what we should have been in overtime, and who knows. But shouts out to Jacoby Myers throwing the ball 30 yards backwards. The Las Vegas, I guess the refs wanted us to win this one. Raiders versus 30. New England, what the hell, Patriots 24. Bud, what a freaking game. Here's another game that the Titans are going to wish they had back. Ryan Tannehill is a boring quarterback. Derrick Henry only got 100 yards, which is not enough for them to win. He even scored. Average 5 yards a carry. That's not enough for them to win. They have nobody to catch the ball that's worth anything. Derrick Henry led them in receiving. I mean, yikes. And then on the other side, Justin Herbert had a pretty decent game, except for the part where he just wanted to throw the ball like a maniac. Too many turnovers. We have to control the turnovers. But, I mean, when you're playing the Titans who have zero offense, I guess you go, who cares? Let's have a quick talk, Titans. All right, you and me. You know Tannehill is bad, right? Don't be like, well, he's good at managing the game and he keeps it close, and he's bad, man. The faster we can all admit this, okay, the faster we can fix the problem. Derrick Henry will not live forever. He will not be the Titans' hope for the next 20 years. He is slowing down. I think slowly but surely. He cannot run 200 yards every game. He can't do it. I'd like to think he could, but he can't. You guys have nobody to throw the ball at. You have a quarterback that can't even throw the ball to begin with. So let's fix problem one. We have to get Tannehill out of here. And maybe Malik is the answer. He didn't look great, the first time he had to go, but he seemed a little better today. Granted, it was a very small sample size, but the Jaguars are coming fast. And you guys are terrible. If you don't win the division and make the playoffs this year, just remember last year, because it's going to be a drought. You will not see the playoffs for many years. Now let's talk to the Chargers. Are you nervous yet? Are you worried that there's 3 games left and you haven't chargered the season away? I am. And I think you know it's coming. You guys might finish this year 8-9 and be like, man, all we had to do was win one more to make the playoffs. I don't have any confidence in the Chargers. And, to this day, I've made the stand. I've made the argument Justin Herbert is not that great of a franchise quarterback. Do you want a guy that can throw the ball hard and far and is athletic and can run a little bit? Of course. That is Justin Herbert. Do you also want a guy that looks like he has no idea what's going on half the time and makes really bad decisions? That's also Justin Herbert. And I don't know which version you're going to get and when it's coming, because today, if you had been playing, a reasonable team, you cannot do that. You cannot throw the ball away twice. And he just doesn't convert very much. How do you have 300 yards passing and no touchdowns? Well, because he got 2 interceptions. I also feel like they forgot Austin Eckler is kind of on the team. He needs the ball more. Can we talk about that too? So, I'm not a Justin Herbert guy. Never have been. Probably won't ever be. Does he put up ridiculous numbers? Sure. Is he going to win when you need it the most? Well, he hasn't proven that he can do that yet. Maybe this is the start, but I have problems with Herbert. And he could change my mind. It's going to be hard, but he could. I doubt it, to be honest. I just think he is inconsistent. And when you need him most, it's not happening. Titans, watch out. You are flatlining quickly. All right, so let's just recap real fast. You guys got to get rid of Tannehill. You got to find some wide receivers. Chargers, you got to get the ball to Austin Eckler more. I would like that. That would be cool. And Justin Herbert is the scariest quarterback in the league, and he might throw it to the other team more than his own players. We all agree? Great. Firm handshakes. Thank you. Let's ring this one up. Man, it feels bad to be a Titan. Los Angeles, we got them. Chargers, 17. And the Tennessee, our season is on fire. Titans, 14. That's ugly. Oh man, is this the last afternoon game right here? It is. The Bengals Bucks. What do you know about this? Here's what I know. The Bucks, we'll get to it in a second. Joe Burrow, nice game. Nice game. The defense for the Bengals, I think, stepped up in a big way when they were down 17-3 at half. That second half, the Bengals defense, whatever tongue lashing they received and whatever adjustments they made were all correct. They fixed the problem. And conversely, whatever offensive problems were happening in the first half were immediately remedied because the Bengals scored 31 points. And mind you, it was 31 unanswered points in the second half. So before you knew it, the score was 34-17, excuse me. Joe Burrow didn't have a million pass yards, but he had the right throws when he needed them. The run game was pretty much shut down by the Bucs, who I think the best part of their team is their defense. Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, scoring touchdowns. You sprinkled in a little Wilcox and T. Higgins touchdown as well, It's nice to see the Bengals get the big three, Higgins, Boyd, and Chase, all touchdowns. That's Joe being a cool guy. Joe Mixon looked pretty rough out there. Samaje a little better, but I mean, when you run the ball 21 times and only get 50 yards, it's tough. But now let's get over and have a talk with the Bucs. Okay? Why is Tom Brady every week throwing the ball 40 times? What is wrong with you people? You cannot expect to win doing that. It is terrible. He threw the ball 44 times, completed 30 of them for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Oh, man. Tom Brady does not have the fortitude to be throwing the ball 44 times, man. You guys got to knock that off. But maybe your strategy is it's his last season. Who cares? Just throw it until his arm falls off. Whatever. You guys aren't going to win anything. That's fine. And maybe you don't care. Your division's terrible, but watch out. You're 1 game up on everybody. Really not a great look. Your guys' run game is pretty bad. Maybe playoff Lenny will come back. Maybe you guys can learn to block. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, pretty good games. Russell Gage, I guess. 2 touchdowns, so that's excellent. But it seems like you're throwing it enough times that they should all be having good games, but it means nothing. Your stats are empty. Your scores mean nothing. And the Bengals, I think, are peaking at the right time. They're really picking up some steam here. Okay? They're a game back from the Chiefs and the Bills for a 1 seed. And I tell you what, they might be ready to go back to the Super Bowl. Or they might just blow it. But I think this version of the Bengals is the best version of the Bengals, where you can be efficient in passing. You can sprinkle in some runs. And I know the run game was bad today, but I don't think that's the standard. You can play excellent defense when you need to, and the offense can come along in stride. Okay? It's always helpful to when, you're creating turnovers, not turning the ball over. This is the week of don't do the turnover, okay? But across the board, this game was not close at the beginning, and then it was not close at the end. The final score of 34-23 is not indicative to how truly bad the second half went for the Bucs. Could not get anything. And then when you had something, you just had Tom throw that interception. Tough, man. And you know what? Try to protect Tom Brady a little more. Okay? The interceptions don't tell the whole story, because him fumbling it also tells the other half of the story. You can't have 4 turnovers. You gave up so much field position. Bengals defense is nasty. Tom Brady, don't throw it 40 times. Bucs, figure it out. Shouts out to the Bengals. All right, let's ring them up. The Cincinnati, we're coming for that number 1 spot, Bengals. 34. The Tampa Bay Geriatric Buccaneers, 23. The Bengals, meow, get it done. Oh, and let's go to what may be the most disappointing loss in Commanders history. I mean, that's probably not true, but you haven't been the Commanders long. So maybe it is true. What do you think, Commanders fans? Tying the Giants 2 weeks ago, having a bye week, and then coming out and scoring 12 whole football points. Is the Heineke magic wearing off? Was your defense not ready after 3 weeks of preparation? Is Saquon too much to handle? Did you simply not want to make the playoffs? Any of these answers are, you got to own one of them. So own one. Daniel Jones is not an impressive quarterback. 160 yards passing, 35 yards rushing, no touchdowns anywhere from him. Saquon had a decent game on the ground. The Giants' defense stuffed you guys. Heineke, has the magic run off? Is it time to put in Carson Wentz again? That's what you're dealing with right now. This was a game that the Commanders had to have. And it was going to be a big game for them. I think this is really, kind of the pinnacle of their season. This was going to be a true playoff game for them, and it just was flat. It was flat across the board. And the Giants did just enough to win, and then the Commanders helped them out even more. You go up 20-12. You kick that field goal in the fourth, and you're up 20-12. But then Heineke is moving that ball. He is making the pass there, the big play there, a nice run here. We're on the 1 damn yard line, and you false start? You got to be kidding me. I'm sure that was really painful for all the Commanders fans. You cannot false start on the 1 yard line. You had an opportunity there to tie the game 20-20 again, get it into overtime, and get the biggest win of your season. But you false start? What are we talking about, man? The Giants didn't do anything special to win. Heineke was, under a lot of pressure this game. 2 fumbles. That's a problem. Man, I feel for the Commanders on this one a little bit because I was really in their corner. But when you do stuff like this, you're just not ready. And I think you have really figured out your running back situation. You have some pretty awesome receivers. You gotta love Scary Terry. You gotta love Brian Robinson and Antonio Gibson. You do not like the quarterback situation. And if you're the Giants, you basically hate everything but Saquon. So, I don't know what to tell you. The Giants, I think, will make the playoffs now. This was huge for them. When they get into the playoffs, I don't know what they're supposed to do, but they'll get there, and it'll be exciting for a little bit. But the Giants' offense is bad. If their defense doesn't score that strip sack fumble, boop, if they don't get that strip sack fumble recovery in the end zone, this is a totally different game. But their defense did what it had to do, and the Commanders did nothing they had to do. You stopped a bad offense. Like, that's great, but why? You gotta convert. You gotta on the 1 yard line, you gotta score. Cannot go backwards. Cannot commit senseless penalties. And this was a sloppy game all around. There was penalties left, right, and center. You got to tighten that up. So maybe this was just a precursor to next year, but you have a lot of quarterback issues that you're going to have to resolve somehow. Okay, Commander Sands. You can talk to me about it. I'll help you solve them. Maybe Dan will sell the team. Maybe that will help you guys. I don't know. And Giants, figure it out. Figure it out. Saquon's an answer. Daniel Jones is not an answer. You might want to look into some wide receivers. You got to figure this out. But as far as this game goes, it really strictly just comes down to maybe we go to overtime because we're on the 1 yard line. Maybe we miss the 2-point conversion and don't. But the Commanders needed a lot of help at the end, and they shot their own foot. Ring it up. The New York Football Giants, 20. The Washington, start those engines when the light turns green, not before. False start, Commanders. We suck. 12. Our playoffs are ruined. I hate all of this. Maybe next year. Again, 12. Man, look at that score. All right, let's do a quick Monday night review. And this one is special for me. No one else, just for me. This is a game that I'm sure nobody wants to watch, and yet you will all be held hostage by it. Okay? LA Rams, led by Baker Mayfield, will play the Green Bay Packers, led by Aaron Rodgers. The Packers are favored by 7 points, and the over-under set at 39.5. So people are not expecting offense, and they're expecting the Packers to kill us in Lambeau. And to that I reply, I dare you. I'm going to take the Rams plus 7 here because why not us? Why not? And the under seems fine. This game is going to be not fun. So pre-apologize in advance. Aaron Donald isn't playing. None of our stars are playing because they're all on the IR. The Packers have everybody playing except for Bakhtiari. He seems like he's hurt a lot. Tough. But this is a big one for Pat and I, all right? Pat, the Packers fan, and when the Packers aren't doing well, the Seahawks fan. It's a tough life for him. Versus me, St. Louis fan. This reminds me of the good old days when we were truly garbage. So this is the one time you're going to get a pre-apology for this game. But after that, whatever happens, happens. And I will not apologize if it's a good game, and I will not apologize when we win. With that being said, we could cover some thoughts here. Let's just do like a free think. We'll call it free thinking for a couple minutes, okay? Coming up in the future, we're going to get some video going. We got that on deck. We're figuring out a nice little studio setup, so that'll be cool. A look ahead. We'll be covering a lot of March Madness. We're going to start to shift our focus here coming up after the NFL season is over to more of a general sports coverage, and we'll throw in some college hoops. We'll talk some, oh boy, we'll definitely talk some baseball. A lot of baseball in the off season. I'll be doing a little NBA talk. The season doesn't get good until, summer. We'll start covering the NBA in a month or so. After football. I'm not going to say a month. We're going to cover NBA after football. We'll do some hockey talk. And we're going to try to set up our first ever interviews. So get ready for some of that action. Give us a follow. Give us a follow on Twitter. You can find us. What are we? We're the one and only. Find us. Whatever. We're at Twitter at Sunday Scaries 22. Give us a follow there. Get some updates. Get some live thoughts, look-ins at different games happening. Give us a like, comment, subscribe on the YouTube channel, Cottonwood Media. And as always, thanks for the listen. This has been Sunday Scaries presented by Cottonwood Media. See ya.